I'm Dan Reinstein. I'm medical director of the London Vision Clinic in London. I'm American, but I moved back to Europe in 2001, seeking faster developments in refractive surgery. It's amazing that there have been, I was just thinking, 999,999, 1 million. That's a lot of treatments. And so I think the most important thing that it does is that it sets this kind of mental barrier that's been broken. In other words, oh, smile, well, it's new, I'm not sure about it. Let's see, I'm going to wait. Well, I don't know. You can say that after 200 procedures, maybe 2,000 procedures, but 1 million is just this very round number. I don't know. I think it's a great milestone. SMILE is an addition to our armamentarium of how we can treat refractive error. Obviously, the great advantage is that it's less invasive. There's less surgery on the eye. The incision is very small, and therefore, because there's no flap, we get the same visual recovery that we expect from LASIK, but we get it without the physical restrictions that we place on patients after LASIK. People can, the next day, can go and have a jiu-jitsu class or, taekwondo or whatever they're going to do that we would tell them to wait a few months for after LASIK. Nothing wrong with LASIK at all. LASIK is a phenomenal procedure. There have been probably 40 million LASIK procedures performed, and that's great, and we're going to continue doing LASIK. But SMILE just has that added advantage. The number of presentations in SMILE is growing every year because the number of users is growing and the number of scientists analyzing their outcomes is growing. Certainly out of China we're getting a lot of very good, very high quality research. And in Europe, now the US has finally been able to enter into the arena. So the FDA results, which have been published by the FDA. So I would say that for me anyway, as someone who's been involved in this, I'm 4,000 plus eyes down the road on this. One of the most interesting presentations I saw was one by Professor Sabong Srivanabhun from Thailand, who did a contralateral study where they looked at what we thought to be the best option, which is a thicker cap, 135 micron cap, and he compared it to super thin caps of 80 microns. And quite unexpectedly, it was a small series, but it was a contralateral study, so that it was controlled. The day one vision in the super thin caps was much better, and it was convincing. I mean, the statistics are convincing. The question then is, well, are we going to just change to that? And I think we won't just change to that. Some of the advantages of SMILE are that by leaving 130 microns of anterior stroma uncut, we are leaving most of the corneal nerve plexus intact. And so with respect to the dry eye sensation that patients experience after corneal surgery, that's an advantage. The other thing is that the anterior stroma is the strongest part of the cornea. So this is the benefit that's enabling us to treat much higher levels of myopia. And we could go back to LASIK style caps in terms of thinness, and it seems get the benefit of better day one vision. But the vision in those patients, by the way, was exactly the same over time. So there wasn't even a medium-term benefit. It was only a one-day benefit to going thin. So I thought it was a great study because, when you do something that no one's thought of doing, and the result ends up surprising you, it makes it all worth it. The future of smile is a bright smile. I mean, it is. You know, 1 million procedures performed already, and that's by a handful, a few hundred surgeons, 700, 800 surgeons. The acceptance of smile is growing. The question as to whether smile is going to stay or go has been answered. Smile is going to stay. Will smile become the only procedure in the world? No, of course not. We always need excimer lasers. We're going to need them for enhancements. We're going to need them for custom shapes that are much easier to create with an excimer laser than with a three-dimensional cutting system. So excimer lasers are never going to go away, and therefore LASIK and PRK will still be there. There might be geographic differences in what procedure is the dominant procedure because of cost. Femtosecond lasers are a lot more expensive to make than excimer lasers. So this could be a factor that's going to affect where it's going. There's no question, however, that where the economy of a region can support a higher priced procedure, I think the public is going to drive smile as a dominant procedure because of the perception that keyhole surgery is better than large incision surgery. I mean, it happened for gallbladders. It's bound to happen for cornea. Smile has already changed the LVC market. There are procedures that are driven by surgeons to patients, and then there are procedures that are pulled by patients from surgeons. And I think smile is one of the procedures where just the description of a smile procedure to a layperson is going to just seem a lot more palatable than I'm making a flap and the flap this, and So I think that perceptually, smile is going to help grow confidence in laser refractive surgery. I have to say, though, that I don't think that smile is because it's better is why the laser vision correction market will grow. I think that LASIK is already an optimized super procedure. It's 25 years in the making. It's optimized. It gets phenomenal outcomes. The safety is unparalleled for any surgical procedure. There is more published research on corneal refractive surgery than any other surgery in the whole of medicine. This is a very well-established thing to do. So whether we do it as PRK or as LASIK or as SMILE, it's really laser vision correction. And I think that yes, patients are going to want to have a less invasive procedure that has no flap and less dry eye, and we'll give that to them because it's good for everybody, but I don't know whether it's because SMILE is better that the laser vision correction market is going to grow. I think it's because the perception might be different, that it might create more confidence in the market. SMILE's attracting more. Well, I don't know if it's attracting more candidates. There is a group of patients who go online and do research and find out about SMILE and think, that's it, I don't want to flap, that's what I want. But they're not necessarily the best candidates for SMILE. They might have to have LASIK if they want refractive surgery. I don't like to put the patient in the driver's seat to decide what procedure they should have because well, I'm the one who went to medical school and know all this stuff. If SMILE is the best patient, is the most appropriate treatment for the patient, which it is a lot of the time, they will get SMILE. I mean, just in numbers, for the myopia that we treat in our clinic, 80% of our myopic patients receive SMILE. So it is a dominant procedure, but I don't want to put LASIK down in any way. It's not like, oh, I'm really sorry you can't have SMILE, you have to have LASIK. Those patients are going to get equally good results. They'll have a little bit more dry eye, and they're going to have some restrictions in their activities for a few weeks or months after surgery because of the healing of the flap that has to complete. But all in all, I think everything is moving in the direction of growing the refractive surgery market because the confidence and the safety has reached a level which is now the same as contact lenses, which of course are a very well accepted vision correction option. My main message to my colleagues, given that there have been 1 million procedures now produced, is can we stop questioning whether SMILE is here to stay? And can we get on with the process of making SMILE into a mature procedure? SMILE's been around for 5 years, in essence, on a wide commercial basis. And the level that it's achieved in 5 years compared to the level that we had in the first 5 years of excimer lasers is without comparison. So I think we need to just stop questioning whether and let's focus our efforts on getting this thing to work as best as we can. I would say that if someone comes to us for vision correction, if they are a candidate for SMILE, then they will get SMILE. In our clinic, we don't have a differential pricing structure. We believe that the decision as to what procedure the patient's going to have should be made by the surgeon based on the clinical information and the patient's requirements. And therefore, we don't want there to be a bias introduced by cost. If something is more expensive and a patient thinks, no, I'm going to save the money, I don't want that. This is your eyes. You're going to do this once, hopefully. Let's forget about that extra vacation. Just let's get the eyes done the way it's best. Our practice, I think we're coming close to 5,000 SMILE procedures at the London Vision Clinic. We're, that's a fair number of procedures. Certainly our surgical experience is now very mature. We're now teaching courses in SMILE, and we have a textbook that we've written. It's now in the process of being formatted, which is going to come out at the ESCRS in 2018. We've learned a lot. I mean, this textbook is 540 pages long. It has over 200 narrated videos. It's a big piece of work, but it's come from our learning curve and experience so that people can start SMILE now with the same level of safety that we have, having gone through that early experience.